Hi, this is Jason from Horrific Nightmares, and it's time for a positive spin. Today we're going to be talking about American Pie Presents Girls Rules. Now, I told you guys we were going to be getting to this one when I talked about it briefly on Seldom Seen. This is a movie that kind of blew me away. This got a very low score. This, of course, is later in the franchise. You have most of the American Pie Presents movies coming in 2006 to like 2009. This was done in 2020. So there's a big gap. And to be honest with you, I was kind of weary. Um, or no, I was kind of leery about watching it. Weary. Anyway, um, I know how our culture has changed, cancel culture and all. And I wondered if they could make a raunchy comedy still stick in today's society. Let me tell you something. They did that and then some. Now, my history with this film is non existent. I actually did not even know it existed. When Joe and I planned to rank and watch the American Pie movies plus the American Pie Presents movies, um, I didn't even know this one existed. Joe actually found a copy for himself and a copy for me at a thrift store. So thank you, Joe. I really appreciate it because I enjoyed this movie thoroughly. So let's put a positive spin on American Pie Presents Girls Rules. Now, I listened to a bunch of reviews and I read a bunch of reviews on this movie. And I heard stuff like, oh, this ruined the franchise. Please stop making these movies, they're garbage. Um, this is the last straw. There will never be another American Pie movie because of this film. Basically, it's garbage. Worst movie ever made. You know, all the stuff that you've heard before. So I didn't have high hopes watching it. And I'm going to tell you, um, this is a pretty fantastic film. And it does tie in with the rest. Now, I know a lot of people say that the American Pie Presents movies like Bandcamp, Beta House, The Book of Love, and there's another one I can't, it's escaping me at this time, but how they don't tie in. Every single one of these movies tie in to the original American Pie films. If you have heard that they don't tie in, don't listen because they do. And you should have learned by now after watching our Seldom Seen, if you saw it, if you didn't, go back and watch it, that these movies all do tie together. Now, how this one ties in is these are girls instead of in the original American Pie films, you had Jim and Finch and Chris and or Oz, whatever you want to call them, Stifler and all the other guys. So this one you have four girls, and it just so happens that the blonde right here is a Stifler, Stephanie Stifler, as a matter of fact. Yes, Stifler's mom was quite active. So you have Stephanie Stifler and her three friends who are all trying to get laid. This is their last year in high school, and the one main girl, Annie, her boyfriend Jason is getting ready to go to college, and they are all still virgins except for, of course, Stephanie Stifler. And they make a pact that they're all going to lose their virginity, and of course, Stephanie Stifler wants to actually have sex with someone she loves. So that is basically the premise of the film. Um, it's almost like a remake of American Pie, only with women. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking Ghostbusters. Well, first of all, I like the women's Ghostbusters movie. I don't like it as much as the other ones, granted, but I thought it was pretty fun. This one, however, I think is done extremely well. This is a raunchy comedy. And in today's cancel culture and how everyone's offended by every little thing, they did something incredibly smart in this film. And I'm not going to get into too many positives in this one. I know it's a positive spin, but I think I'm kind of laying out the positives while I'm talking about it, if that makes any sense. I will get into some positives, but yeah, they did something very clever where you have the American Pie Presents movies, the Bandcamp and Beta House and all that. You have a ton of nudity. They don't do that in this one. And I know a lot of people said that this movie was too tame. Okay, it might be tame as far as nudity goes. But what they don't show in nudity, they make up for in descriptive sexual antics. Um, you'd have to see it to understand what I'm talking about, but this was a hell of a lot raunchier than I thought it was going to be. And I like that about the film. I like that they kept the heart, or they kept the way the American Pie Presents movies go. I really like that they kept that in there, the raunchiness. And if it's not nudity, it can be something else that's almost as uncomfortable. And you'd have to see uh, some of the things that the girls go through in order to understand. um, okay, positives. Let's get into some positives because this is, however, is a positive spin. You have the four girls. It to me seems very uh, realistic. What I mean by that is if you look at the original American Pie movie, all of the guys weren't drop dead gorgeous. At least I didn't think that they had that kind of aura behind them. I mean, you had Chris Klein, of course, that all the girls liked, and I guess Thomas Ian, whatever the guy's name is, that a lot of the girls liked. But a lot of the other ones were just average looking guys, like Jason Biggs, average looking guy, nothing crazy. Stifler, nothing crazy. I mean, he was funny, but he didn't seem like the typical sex symbol. So in Girls Rules, you have something similar. You have Annie, who is our main character, who is very attractive. You have Stephanie Stifler, who is also very attractive. Um, and their other two friends, which are not as attractive, but are still realistic looking. And you kind of root for them at the same time that you root for Annie and Stephanie. So, like I said, it's very realistic. Another positive, like I said, is the raunchiness. They don't show it in nudity. There's a lot of girls running around in their lingerie, of course, that's fine. But some of the scenes they get into are laugh out loud hysterical. When they take Annie into a sex shop, I was dying. I mean, I could not stop laughing. Joe and I both couldn't stop laughing. A lot of the innuendos used in this movie are hilarious, absolutely hilarious. So, as far as it being tame, I disagree. This movie, and this is going to be the huge positive for this movie has one thing that the other American Pie Presents movies it doesn't have. That the original American Pie movies, the original four have, and that's heart. This movie has a ton of heart, and I really enjoyed it. I was very surprised. I didn't expect to enjoy it as much as I did. And I believe Joe felt the same way. He liked it a lot too. It just makes us wonder what's wrong? What do people want? I don't understand it. So check out American Pie Presents Girls Rules. If you like the American Pie films, I think it is a fantastic addition. Or don't, but don't forget to check out Joe's positive spin for American Pie Presents Girls rules. Physical media matters. And until next time, peace.